In 1919, he hit 29 home runs and was sold to the New York Yankees.
A three-run home run for Buffington. The Yankees now lead it by a score of 3-2.
Bill Lee is now going over to a couple of the Yankees, and there they go again.
One hits it to deep left. That might send the Yankees to the World Series.
Varitek and A-Rod going at it. Roberts is going. Posada's throw. Roberts safe.
And what can I say? Just tip my hat and call the Yankees my daddies.
Welcome to Fanbase, a deep dive into the greatest rivalry in sports. I'm your host, John Senecal. This is episode 156. I'm co-host again this week. Brian should be back next week, but I figured we need to talk about we need an episode. I mean, there's a lot going on in baseball. There's a lot going on in Yankee universe, especially. So here's kind of a rundown. We'll talk pretty much, sorry, Red Sox fans, we're going to talk a lot about the Yankees, but we will talk about the Red Sox because the Yankees did play the Red Sox just recently for the first time this year. We'll talk some Judge, big news on him, a little bit of Glaber, a little bit of Trevino. We're going to talk some injury news, other injury news for the Yankees, and then we're going to talk a little bit about the passing of Willie Mays. So the most important thing right now as we speak in Yankee universe is the health of Aaron Judge. And everybody can breathe a collective sigh of relief as of now because Judge himself said the x-rays and CT scan on his left hand are negative. So to get everyone caught up to date, Tuesday night, Aaron Judge was hit on his left hand, just basically on the ball of his left hand below the pinky. So not on the back of his hand like Mookie Betts, who landed him on the IL for probably 2 months. But still, a big scare. Hit up and in, 94-mile-an-hour fastball. He stayed in the game. I believe, when you look at the replay and you watch the game, and I was watching it live, you knew right away that it wasn't good. But when you see the replay and where it was hit, you start to think good things, because if anybody's watched baseball and you play baseball, you don't want to get hit where Mookie Betts got hit on the back of the hand. Too many little bones, little things, and breakable things. So he got hit in a good spot, but he stayed in the game, and it really was basically only he stayed in the game was just to be the captain. I think he knew right away he was probably coming out, and for precautions, his hand did hurt. But that being said, he had a press conference after the game, and he said he's fine, and the imaging said it's fine, and so like I said, collective sigh relief. Now, not so good news for two other players. Over the weekend, Yankees Red Sox, Anthony Rizzo goes down, and he's got a fractured arm after a collision at first base and falling, and he will be out, I'm guessing, minimum probably 2 months. So, that puts him, close to, I guess, September to call back. Yankees put him on the IL, obviously. They replaced him with Ben Rice. We'll talk about him in a minute. I don't know how I feel about this one, because right away, everyone's focus switched to Judge, but Rizzo's the one that's out. Unfortunately, Rizzo's not having a great year, and he's been struggling. He's played a little bit better lately, but let's be honest. Since the collision with Tatis last year and in that concussion, he hasn't been good. He really hasn't been good, and it's unfortunate because he's a great player, and he's still relatively young. So TBD on him. We'll see. I'm guessing probably sometime September, but very unfortunate news. And more unfortunate news for the Yankees, which, given the circumstances, probably could have come up and played a role maybe with the Yankees, even though he was an outfielder. Jason Dominguez, the Martian, hurt. Strained oblique on the 7-day IL, minor league IL 7-day. But listen, we all know obliques are definitely tricky things. He did it on a check swing. You could tell, right, when you look at the replay in the game that he grimaced. He was definitely injured. And obliques, they're different for everybody. The older you get, the harder it is. The more severe it is, the harder it is to recover, obviously. But he's 21 years old, so I'm guessing the recovery time won't be as long. But I guarantee it's not going to be 7 days. And it's unfortunate, like I said, because that it would probably have been an opportunity for him to maybe get called back up to the Yankees, because he has been hitting. He has been hitting in AAA, almost 400, good on base percentage, hitting home runs, actually playing the outfield. So he's back from his Tommy John surgery. But more unfortunate news. So hopefully his youth and the severity of the injury is not that bad, and he will be back sooner than later. And I'm still guessing that, barring injury, we don't see Jason Dominguez until the September call-ups with the Yankees, just because the Yankees, they don't really have a need for him right now based on his position that he plays, especially with Stanton playing relatively well and healthy. Yankees that's not playing well, Gleyber Torres. I hate to sound like a broken record, and Yankee fans in general, I think, feel the same. Just not good. He had a relatively good season last year. He batted like .270, had 25 home runs. But this year he has just been in a funk all season, and I think in the Red Sox series over the weekend, it was just brought more to the forefront. He has a 3-0 count late in the game, bases loaded. And you can just tell he's clearly looking for a walk. He's just thinking, there's no way this guy is going to throw me 3 more strikes and I'm going to get a walk. But he watches 2 more pitches, runs the count full, and this is with no outs and the bases loaded for the Yankees against the Red Sox. And what does he do? He swings at a ball that bounces like 2.5 feet in front of the plate, literally probably the worst at bat of the season for him. And he's had some clunkers, but it's one of those at bats where you just look at it and you just know, this guy is lost. He's literally lost. And unfortunately, in baseball, when you're lost, when you're hitting, it translates. It translates to the rest of your game, the defense. And he's always been goofy here and there with his base running, and he does some stupid things on defense. But I hate to say it, it's just not his year. It's just not. I just don't see how, as we're running towards, the dog days of summer, as summer starts officially, that he's going to all of a sudden just turn this dismal season he's having around. I mean, in the Red Sox series, he was 0 for 10 with runners in scoring position. 0 for 10 in the series, but 0 for 5 with runners in scoring position. He stranded 12 base runners himself. I don't know what else you can say. If you're not getting any sort of production out of your second baseman at this stage in the game, you need to be thinking, what is our alternative? You have another month before the trade deadline, really, because now it's like August 1st. But what are you doing in the meantime? Is there something you can do internally? I don't know. Cabrera, can he go there? I don't get Gleyber. I just can't figure it out. And then the Red Sox series, talk about being exploited. The Red Sox ran all over the Yankees. They took Jose Trevino to task. Jose Trevino, they know, is statistically the worst catcher in baseball at throwing out runners, which is not going to pose well when you play in teams in the postseason or even down the stretch with teams that can run. And Jarren Duran can run. And the Red Sox ran all over the Yankees. The Red Sox stole 9 bases. And that's not in a series. That's in a game. One game instead of franchise record, the Red Sox against the Yankees, and stole 9 bases. If you watch the game, Jose Trevino didn't even look like the worst catcher on a high school team. I don't even know what the pop time is. He was juggling the ball before he threw, and it was like he's lost, almost like Gleyber behind the plate. And that's just going to be a huge weakness for the Yankees. And unfortunately for the Yankees, their second choice, their backup, Austin Wells, is not hitting. He's a left-handed bat, which I don't see him going anywhere, really, unless Ben Rice blows up. Ben Rice is originally he's a catcher, but unless he blows up, I don't see Austin Wells going anywhere because he's a left-handed bat. So I don't know. The Yankees going forward clearly need some help. They need help. DJ is lost. He's struggling. He hasn't even had an extra base hit yet since he's been back, and he doesn't even look like he has any power. In the game last night, the first game against the Orioles, he looked like he cranked one and didn't even go anywhere. It's like he just doesn't have it anymore. I don't know. I don't know if he's still hurt or it's just the lingering effects of getting older and not playing as much over the last 3 seasons has caught up with him. I don't know what it is. But clearly the Yankees at third base, they need to figure out some production. They need to figure out second base. And now they need to figure out first base because Rizzo's not coming back. The Yankees just called up Ben Rice, who was tearing it up at AAA, and he started the season in AA this year. He's a young player, and he's a left-handed bat, but he's a rookie. We don't know yet what he's going to do. I hope it's good things because the Yankees need it. The Yankees need a Shane Spencer. The Yankees need a Kevin Moss out of Ben Rice right now. That's what they need. They need him to come in there and be a nice left-handed bat and play first base, and then when DJ has to go over and spell him at first. So hopefully he can do it. But the Yankees have some issues, man. They need to figure some stuff out. And I'm not a Clay Holmes fan either. I mean, everybody knows that who's listening. I said it. The Yankees aren't going to win with Clay Holmes closing. And again, first game against the Orioles in the Orioles series, shaky in the 9th. And they'll say, well, he's got all this run on his fastball and his slider and all this. And but if you can't control that run, good teams are not going to swing at your crappy pitches. It's just not going to happen. It really isn't, and he needs to figure that out because the season's just getting tough. It's getting hot. It's going to get longer. It's going to get harder. So I don't know. I'm going bullpen, second base, third base, and let's see what happens with first. I mean, I like thinking crazy things. I would have just said let's move Judge to first base and bring up the Martian and put him in center field, but the Martian's hurt. And everyone would think I'm crazy to put Judge at first, but let's be honest. Judge is going to be an outfielder his whole career. And the dude's an athlete. He could definitely play first base. He played it in spring training a little bit. He could figure it out. He could definitely figure it out. But like I said, the good thing is Judge is not hurt. Seriously, I'm sure he's going to have some swelling. He's going to have some issues, but I don't think he's going to miss any time. I think he wants to play. I definitely think he wants to play. You know who else wants to play is Garrett Cole. Garrett Cole is back. He is back officially Wednesday against the Orioles night game. It's his first official start of the season. Game 2 against the Orioles, and the Yankees need him. He has I think he had 4 rehab starts, I believe, and he recovered well from all of them. Obviously, he wouldn't be coming to the majors if he wasn't. Pitched, I believe, 80 pitches in his last rehab start in AAA. And all signs point to he's good. He's good to go. So I would expect, barring anything that, comes up during the game or the extreme heat that's coming into the Northeast, I would expect him close to 100 pitches. They're going to start looking guaranteed at 80, but 90, maybe not 100, but definitely 90 if he gets there and makes it tonight. But he has been Garrett Cole. Obviously it's minor leaguers he's facing, but he has been Garrett Cole. He has been throwing strikes. He has not been wild. So I would expect the same. And if he's got the stuff, they're not going to hit it. I'll take 85% Garrett Cole over just about anybody else in the league. So the Yankees, as much as I'm complaining about third base and second base and first base, good things for the Yankees right now. Right now, they won the first game against the Orioles, and Judge is officially, I guess not seriously hurt, and Cole is coming back. So good things. So not good things is baseball and the world in general lost a major icon in the sport and social icon. Willie Mays gone at the age of 93 on Tuesday evening. If you know baseball, you know the name. He's the Say Hey Kid. The catch in the 1954 World Series. It's amazing that everything that he did and accomplished on the field. 12-time Gold Glove, 24-time All-Star. And we're talking about a player who started in 1951, won the Rookie of the Year, and then basically disappeared for 2 years. He played like 30 games his second year, but then he served in the military for a year. So it was really his first majorly official run in baseball started in 1954. And that is the year he made that, the catch in the 1954 World Series, the over-the-shoulder catch that everybody, always sees famously, which everyone, a lot of people say was probably one of the greatest catches ever. But obviously, if you watch baseball over years, it was good, but it wasn't, the greatest. There's been a lot of good plays. But back to Willie, he strung off once he came back. He was an all-star every year except to his second to last season. That was basically the season when he was traded to the Mets. So I don't know if everyone was just pissed off or what the deal was. But 24 out of basically 25 straight seasons, he was an all-star and a two-time MVP, 660 home runs. But it's crazy that, when you listen to all the people that were talking about their stories about Willie and on broadcasts and games last night and on the radio or on podcasts or whatever this morning, they talk about the person Willie Mays. They don't, they weren't the accolades and the accomplishments on the field are one thing, but everybody knows you're defined as the person you are. And Willie obviously was arguably a greater person than he was a player, and that's the reason why he's talked about so highly across the board. It's funny when you talk about the one thing he's made famous about is the catch, and one of his former teammates, Willie McCovey, said this. He said he did so many remarkable things it actually became routine. We were so spoiled. He'd make plays that people would yell and talk about for months. We saw those plays every day, so it was no big deal. Hitting 4 home runs in one game probably was the least of the spectacular things he did. I mean, that's crazy. The dude hit 4 home runs in a game. That just doesn't get done, and that's one of the least spectacular things he did. It's crazy. And then, when you talk about him going, he was voted into the Hall of Fame in 1979. And what's interesting about this is, he's such a great player, even better person. But he only gets 409 of the 432 votes, 94.7%. All right, I bring this up for a couple reasons. Why? I mean, who is not voting for this guy to go into the Hall of Fame? I mean, I'll say it, racist people, I'm guessing. It has to be. But I'm also bringing it up because of all the hemming and hawing, myself included, that was made about Derek Jeter in 2020 in the Hall of Fame, where he got 397 total votes. 396 total votes, and he missed by 1, and everyone's going crazy. And I'll say it. Derek Jeter will say it himself. He was not even close to being the player Willie Mays was. It's just the two aren't even in the same chapter in the book. I mean, you could talk about icons, and names, but not on the field. No way. Willie Mays was the top 3 players ever. However you want to slice it, Ruth, Mays, Williams. Those 3 names are always going to come up in the top 5. I don't care who you ask, if you ask anybody about baseball. So, shame on baseball. Shame on the writers. Everyone wants to find that one person who didn't vote for Jeter. I want to find the 23 that didn't vote for Willie Mays. Come on. Or 24. Whatever. Come on. Get it together. Sad. But, it's also sad that he's passed away. And 93 years old, great run. He'll be missed. I don't know, Barry Bonds. It's funny, I was listening on the way in this morning, and a player was talking, Kevin Franzen was talking about, he played for the Giants, and Barry Bonds is Willie Mays' godson. And he saw Barry Bonds every day would come in, and Willie Mays hung around the Giants a lot as an advisor, and just because he was with the team, so he was always there. And Kevin Franzen asked Willie, he's like, asked Barry, how come you always say hi to him? You're basically related to him. He's your godfather. And he said, because he's the greatest ever. And why wouldn't I? He's the greatest that ever played the game. I mean, I don't know what else you can say. Barry Bonds, I mean, greatness knows greatness. So with that, rest in peace, Willie Mays. This has been episode 156 of Fanbase, a deep dive into the greatest rivalry in sports.